This paper presents a case study of a shared anonymous heart rate variability data visualization at SIGCHI workspace with 24 office workers who were closely collaborated in groups. We collected stress-related physiological data from wearable sensors and anonymously visualized them on a shared display. Although the physiological data collection were noisy due to the practical constraints in the field setting, we found the participants still increasingly agreed with the systems and used the visualization as a reference for their subjective stress assessment.